presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are San Diego.
Sun setting on the Padres season. Aren't you glad you live in beautiful San Diego? Game 2, Milwaukee, Padres, coming up. The Conroe Kid, Andrew Kastner, gets his final start of the season tonight. His Petco record has been sterling. 30 games, ERA 2.26. And we're set to go. Second game of the 3-game series. Final homestand, the Padres and Brewers with Mark Grant, Dick Enberg. We're pleased you've joined us. The Brewers have had the Padres number. They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah, they've got some people out there, some players who are auditioning for next year. They're giving it their best shot. They've got a lot of young players who want to make an effort to break that roster for 2016. So, hey, they've got something to play for the rest of the year.
And speaking of youth, how about the Padres' Corey Spangenberg? Since he came off the DL in mid-August, he's hitting .292.
Well, he brings so much to the table. Versatility is one thing, but speed, and that's something you bring to the ballpark each and every day. So since June 1st, he's almost hitting .300. The on-base percentage well above the league average, and also the extra base hits. Dick, like a quarterback under center, if it's a backup quarterback, the more reps he gets, the more snaps he gets, the more comfortable he feels. And Corey Spangenberg, what I've noticed, he's using the whole field. He'll take a breaking ball the opposite way. He spun on a fastball last night for a triple. He's feeling very comfortable up the plate, and you can plug him in pretty much anywhere on the field. That's the versatility of Corey Spangenberg.
What I learned from you is the chicks like home runs, but I think the fans love the electricity and the energy that comes with a guy, Jankowski and Spangenberg, who can run like that. How about Andrew Kastner, the highs and lows of this 2015 season? What's it all about? Chris Button has the answers when we return.
Welcome back to San Diego. Andrew Cashner making his final start of the year here in Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Brewers. For Andrew Cashner, it's been a difficult season for him off the field, dating all the way back to spring training when he was flying back and forth from Arizona to his home in Conroe, Texas, as his mom was very sick in the hospital. But he's continued to make start after start after start, despite the fact that his mom has continued to be in and out of the hospital, and that's where she is tonight with a stem cell transplant. So we wish her all the best with that. I talked to pitching coach Darren Balsley about what he's seen from Andrew and the way that he's seen him grow up throughout this season.
Well, it's been obviously extremely tough for him, and I've seen Andrew grow up a lot this year, maturity-wise. He's a fantastic teammate, and just to imagine having to go out there and make 34 starts, which he has. He's posted. And going through the trials and tribulations he's been through with his family, as close as he is with his family, has been impressive to say the least, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
And there's one thing you can bank on in every Andrew Cashner start, that his mom, Jane, and the rest of the family are all huddled around a TV, ready to watch him in his final start tonight as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Brewers. How about some firepower from the offense? Saw a little bit of it last night. See if it continues into Game 2. The boys have the call when we come back on Fox Sports San Diego.
Diego presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by Sony Action Cam. Prove yourself. And by Petco. What we feed them matters. And the Padres take the field, led by the 29-year-old right-hander from Conroe, Texas, Andrew Cashner. Looking for his 7th win of the season. He's pitched much better than that. His last 30 starts here at Petco. 6-13, but an ERA of 2.26. And here's the lineup for Milwaukee that he'll be facing, brought to you by Hyundai, much like the one we saw last night, at least at the top of the order. Scooter Gennett, then Logan Schaefer, Adam Lind at first base. Chris Davis having a big home run year, 26 homers. Shane Peterson starts in right field, then Gene Segura. 3 of the 4 runs scored by Milwaukee last night off the bat of Segura, a 2-run homer the difference. Hernan Perez at third base, Martin Maldonado behind the plate, and young Zach Davies, and he is 22 years young. Where do you see him?
And for Andrew Cashner, hey, last one, best one for Andrew Cashner, huh? Command of the fastball and put away early. Got a lot of fans watching around the country, especially, as Chris Budd said, back in Conroe, Texas. So a big outing for Andrew Cashner, hopefully, tonight.
So the Padres, middle game of the 3-game series, trying to snap Milwaukee's success against San Diego. 4 straight wins for the team from the Brew City. They won the last 3 of the 4-game series up there, and we are underway. And the first pitch swinging, Jeanette out of play. Craig Counsell taking over from Ron Renicky early in the season, and has signed a 3-year contract. Two strikes on Jeanette.
I think it was a very nice report Chris Budden just gave us all on Andrew Cash from the year that he has had. A lot going on.
His mom Jane battling severe health problems, and she's like her son, a fighter.
Absolutely.
And of course Andrew the son is constantly in her corner, traveling back and forth throughout spring training and during the course of the regular season to be with his mom Jane.
And she should be very proud, Jane. You've got a wonderful son. It's a pleasure being around him, and hopefully bring home a win tonight.
Swing and a foul tip, strike 3. Young catcher Rocky Gale clutches that strikeout. As we check the Padres defense, brought to you by your San Diego County Ford dealers. Melvin Upton gets a start in center field tonight with young brother Justin in left. Will Myers for Matt Kemp in right field. Spangenberg and Barmas on the left side of the infield. Derek Norris at first, Jerko at second. Gale behind the plate. Here's Logan Schaefer outside.
One thing I'm going to look for tonight is Rocky Gale and the way he receives pitches. He has caught Andrew Cashner in his rehab assignments in the minor leagues, so he's familiar with the stuff from the right-hander.
Schaefer drills one deep to right field. If fair, that's going to be a home run. It is a home run. Schaefer still at home plate. He hasn't even started his trot yet. He thought it was foul. First base umpire Carlos Torres says that's a home run. And Schaefer didn't believe it, and Pat Murphy's going to challenge it. He circles the bases, but let's take a look at where it hits the foul pole. Yeah,
it's not even close.
That's on the wrong side to be a home run. So a nice piece of exercise for Schaefer, and undoubtedly they will have that reviewed. It's been challenged, and all home runs are under review anyway. And I think the other umpires, rather than going to New York to confirm, are saying, you know, are you sure it was a home run? We saw it differently. And manager Murphy lurking beyond the huddle. At least from that angle, it's foul. Even he says, wasn't that foul? And they will go through the review process.
You know what, from that replay, obviously the ball is foul, and I'm just trying to think from that vantage point of the first base umpire what he saw to indicate that being a home run.
Well, he's standing right on the foul line.
Yeah.
And he hesitated, and then he finally gave the circular motion home run.
See, that's why I think in with technology these days and with the challenge system, they need to put cameras facing up on the foul pole. From the bottom, looking up or looking down to where you can see the trajectory of the ball, which way the ball is going.
Like the crossbars, the goalposts in football.
Good call. Watch how the ball disappears behind the foul pole. The ball will disappear right there. Right there. Yep. And it's on the foul side. Clearly foul.
Well, that will be a relief to Andrew Cashner, who's given up 19 home runs this year. Well, watch Schaefer. He's looking at it, eyeballing it. Oh, nuts. I thought it would be a home run. And he turns to go back to the batter's box.
Even he sees it's foul.
That's pretty good evidence right there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody tells him, hey, they just called that a home run. And he Well, somewhat reluctantly jogged around the bases.
Oh, yeah, clearly foul.
Now, we're not looking exactly down the foul line, mind you. And you saw the signal. Come on back. You get to swing again. The count is 1-1. Now that is a long strike.
It sure is.
That defines a long strike.
I'm surprised it took him so long to come up with that decision.
That was an umpire reviewed at a manager challenge. So Schaefer back in the batter's box. 1-2. The Padres would like to get out of this first inning without the opposition scoring. On this homestand, the opponents have outscored the Padres 6-0 in the first inning. In the only of the 7 previous games of this homestand, the Padres scored first only once. San Francisco and Arizona, in all the other games, all 6, on the board first. And Milwaukee last night scored 2 in the first inning. Slaps that one by Spangenberg. So Schaefer, a near home run, and now into second. He's going to try for 3. Where is the ball? Finally, it's dug out in the throw. Not in time.
Somebody hurt?
Justin Upton going over to get the ball. He's out of our view.
Oh, no.
And we don't know from our angle that part of the ballpark is blocked from us. And as he went for the ball, he must have crashed into that barrier. Schaefer winds up with a triple. What an incredible at bat. Logan Schaefer, a near home run, and now an injury triple. You can see it from here. Now we'll get an angle. Upton over to, goes head first into the wall.
He hit his head.
He's able to flip the ball to Barmes. They're making sure that he has all of his senses and arms and legs. That seems good so far.
Yeah.
We've seen Upton all season long take on the fences and barriers, going into walls, trying to make the defensive play.
Oh, yeah, he tries to help out his pitching staff. He'll go in hard. He's gone into the stands. He's gone up against the wall very, very hard, covering the gaps. That time, you know what? It's one of those situations where it's so sensitive. It just shows you, the neck area. You pin that head down just a little bit, and you hit that wall the right way. And when he was not coming back from that corner, Dick, from our vantage point, and his brother Melvin Upton Jr. was sprinting over there.
At the very least, a serious headache. He's carefully, the training staff making certain that it's not serious, that he's able to get off the field under his own power.
I'm just glad he's moving everything.
Here we go. Yeah, he is. He's wobbly. It's a shame they don't have a cart so that they could bring him in. He's way out there in the left field corner. So an unfortunate start to the game tonight. Second batter in a collision between the Petco Park wall and the head of Justin Upton. You saw Jankowski jog out of the dugout. He'll replace him.
So Myers will probably go to left and Jankowski to right.
What an incredible at bat. Logan Schaefer. I mean, a home run that wasn't a home run. And then what would have been ordinarily maybe not even a double if Upton comes up with that ball cleanly against the wall. But that's right where it jogs out from the line between the dugout and the left field corner. He just ran out of room before he was ready to brace himself. Padres announcing that Matt Kemp's season is over. A small finger ligament that was injured, so he leaves with 100 RBIs on the season. 2015 complete for him, and now you wonder if Upton, how serious that will be with the way all athletic enterprises are taking a look at head injuries and concussions. No one taking any chances, and one would think that kind of collision, it'd be doubtful that we'll see Justin again in action. So that is really put a hush over this entire crowd. Infield halfway for Adam Lind, who has 87 runs batted in to lead the team. There's Matt Kemp sitting out tonight in the series in LA. One and one to Lind, 32-year-old from the University of South Alabama. Oh, nice dig there by young catcher Gale.
That's an RSBC by Rocky Gale. A run saved by a catcher. Nice pick, Rocky. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull the rabbit out of my hat. That saves a run.
And he goes after a ball in the dirt, 2-2. Lind at South Alabama, that university has produced some really quality players. How about Luis Gonzalez, John Lieber, David Freese, along with Lind. South Alabama stars. 2-2.
You see what Andrew trying to do there to Lind. He likes to swing the bat. He's a power guy, trying to bury that slider down and in. Boy, good plate coverage from Lind as well. Down and in, foul ball. Up and away, foul ball. I think he's got him geared up for a nice changeup here. Outer half. Kind of take about 10 or 12 miles an hour off, have it swing right through the middle of it.
There it is.
Backdoor slider looks like here.
Bounce to first, foul. Padres hoping to choke off the run at third with one out. Boy, did he use the entire field or what?
Yeah.
Logan Schaefer.
Fastball up and in.
And that went off the mask. Did that get Gale or the plate umpire Blazer?
Kind of tough to tell. It happened so quickly.
Yeah, neither one reached for the mask. Got him swinging. That looked like the change that you were calling for.
Kind of tough to tell. That ball had some funky action to it. One thing for sure, watch Lind as he's way out in front of it. Looks like a backdoor slider. Out of the hand. Andrew kind of working, see the grip. Watch him work around it. The rotation. Tries the backdoor to keeps it down. And you're right, Dick. It acts just like a changeup because it took a little bit off that slider. Gets him way out in front for the strikeout. Good pitch.
So a couple of strikeouts. Now the infield can move back as Chris Davis steps up. Davis hitting .247, but with power this year. Breakout year for this outfielder. 26 homers, 65 runs driven in.
Boy, we talk about Chris Davis and the numbers that he's put up recently. First, second half splits. My goodness. And I just happened to look at the outfield and playing to go the other way a little bit, and Melvin Upton Jr. really on the shallow side in center field.
Dangerously so.
Look where he's at there. And sure, he's got speed to make up the difference.
Got him swinging. He strikes out the side, Andrew Cashner. Logan Schaefer's triple does not cost the Padres. Brought to you by Toyota. Spangenberg and Derek Norris in the number 2 slot. Will Myers hits third. Jankowski with the injury to Upton is the cleanup hitter now. Jed Jerko hits 5th. Melvin Upton Jr. in the 6th slot. Then Barmas, Gale, and Cashner. Brought to you by Toyota.
And the scouting report for right-hander Zach Davies looks a little something like this, and it's brought to you by UCSD Health. You're going to see a lot of sinkers and changeups, folks. So mix in a slider and a curve. You want me to start over? Take 2,
yeah,
Dick?
Take 2.
All right. A sinker, a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. And he's not that overpowering. 89 to 92-ish. So you can see right there, not an overpowering delivery. Boy, I mean, this kid looks like he should be bringing back the bats to the dugout.
6 feet, 160, maybe. He's 22 from Mesquite, Arizona.
He's almost got a Zach Greinke build. Zach Greinke is very.
You see him growing into that uniform. Small of stature, but here he is in the big leagues at 22. And he's got 2 wins and 2 losses.
They say, though, this kid's got some guts, though. He is a competitor. He's a bulldog out there.
Greg Counsell, first year, played at Notre Dame for Pat Murphy. Davies drafted in the 26th round, so he was around for everyone to take a look at for a long time out of Mesquite, Arizona. Baltimore selected him, and then he came over to Milwaukee in the trade for Gerardo Parra, and he strikes out Spangenberg to open the game, his game.
There's that changeup.
Brewers defense is brought to you tonight by Renovation Realty. Davison left, Schaefer in center, Peterson the right fielder. On the infield around the horn, Perez, Segura, Jeanette, and Lind. They're at first base. Maldonado behind the plate. Derek Norris hitting an even 250.
Davies got the skyline of Seattle tattooed on his left forearm. From Puyallup, Washington.
Got the Space Needle on there, does he?
I think so.
Took a needle to do it, huh? To get the Space Needle.
Yeah.
I don't want you wandering off in the off season and getting one of those tattoos.
No. Never entered my mind. Not a fan.
There you go.
It's got to hurt. That's a sensitive area. If I ever did get a tattoo,
Yes.
it'd probably be on my right shoulder, and it would say "Death Before Disco."
I was thinking you'd probably get a large artichoke or something. Like
Artichoke,
that.
huh?
Yeah, just put that there.
Yeah.
That could be a hit if it stays fair, but it'll kick foul.
Well, that's what you're going to get with a lot of sinker ballers is those little dribblers, and that's you give and take. Sure, you'll get ground balls, but you'll top a lot of those for some infield singles.
Yeah, Toronto won the first of a doubleheader. Remember, they had a rainout at Baltimore, but Baltimore has had 8-1, and now they've won the second game. So they split 2, while the Yankees currently are tied in their game in the late innings. Toronto starts tonight 5.5 again ahead of New York. Well, when they've already clinched the East now. They needed only one win. The number was 1. Now the Yankees have to concentrate on the wild card.
Yeah, a lot of different scenarios. It'll give you a headache when you think about record, head-to-head record, interleague, intra-league,
home field.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh beat St. Louis 8-2 tonight, and the Cubs won as well. So the 3 teams in that National League Central, the Cardinals, Pittsburgh, and Cubs, all going to make it to the playoffs. Cubs beat Cincinnati 10-3. Whoa, the Reds. 11 straight losses for Cincinnati. They've totally collapsed. And that's a good lineup.
It is a good lineup.
Pitching, iffy. But the lineup, I mean, you got, just think of the infield. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips.
Todd Frazier.
Frazier at third. Guy that plays all that classical music. Cozart at shortstop. Ground ball sharply right at Segura. Across for the out, 2 away. And a look at the keys to the game tonight, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Hey, Rocky goes the distance. I'm talking about Rocky Gale getting behind home plate, strapping on the gear, and leading his pitching staff the whole way for a victory. And how about some support for Andrew Cashner? Get him some support at home. He's got the good numbers here at home. Good feeling here at Petco Park. Early lead so he can go deep into the ball game.
Will Myers, a rare visit in the 3rd spot in the batting order, with Matt Kemp out for the rest of the year with that finger injury. And Travis Jankowski hitting 4th with the injury to Upton tonight. As soon as we get a report on that injury, we will pass it along to you, of course. Balls being smothered around home plate.
Yep.
Testimony to that sinker.
That's exactly right, Dick. He's got that 2-seamer working. You got to make him get that pitch up. Almost like we talk about every sinker ball, slider ball pitcher out there. Andrew Cashner staying hydrated there. Looking forward to go out for the 2nd frame.
Hit high and deep right field, but foul.
That's a home run. Hear the crowd? I think the crowd's trying to entice the umpire at first base that that's a home run.
The smile from Carlos Torres, a little embarrassing for him. Two and two. Three and two now. Myers has been walking a lot here this last month. Rounds that one toward the hole. Nice backhand Segura to throw him out. Shortstop making a very nice play. On to the 2nd. No score. Gene Segura and Hernan Perez for Milwaukee against Andrew Cashner, who struck out the side in the first. In between strikeouts, Logan Schaefer with that triple to left, and Justin Upton injured, trashing into the wall.
Hey, good block by Rocky Gale. 2 strikes. You got to smother it. Moving laterally to his right, squaring up. That kid's not afraid to get dirty. You look at Rocky Gale and you say, hey, this guy catches in the big leagues. Really? He's a gamer, though.
He's like the pitcher for Milwaukee tonight, Zach Davies. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 4 outs recorded by Cashner, all strikeouts as we go down to Chris Budden. Chris?
Well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the game, his mom, Jane Cashner, had a stem cell transplant today down in Conroe, Texas. I'm told by the family that everything went well, so their hope now is that this transplant causes the rest of the cancer in her body to go away. So the good news is that a very tough procedure, but she's doing well. So thoughts and prayers go out to Jane and the rest of the Cashner family.
All right. Thanks you, Chris, for that report. Yes, we all have our most positive thoughts aimed toward Conroe, Texas. Gene Segura last night, an RBI double. That was a high-kicking ball off home plate that went over Solarte's head at third, and then a 2-run homer off Tyson Ross. Only the 9th given up all season long in his final outing. And it was a no-doubter, second tier of the Western Metal Supply Company building. That took the game from 3-2 Padres to 4-3 Milwaukee, and that was the final. Only the 6th of the season for Segura.
That was one of the few hit balls that was hit hard last night. Remember that double by Segura earlier. Remember the one that bounced about 6 feet out in front of home plate over the head of Solarte for the double. Another dribbler through the infield early that inning, but well, nobody said this game of baseball was going to be fair. They make some good pitches and they'll get some hits sometimes.
Ross consistently throughout the year was outstanding, and yet he finishes 10-12. 2-2 now to Segura.
Oh, he wanted to. Hanging slider. Sometimes when you hang a slider, it's good. Well out of the zone. They either swing through it, foul it back. Really tough to get that top hand on top of it. Let's see if Andrew makes an adjustment here. Go down and away.
High pop up.
It's a home run in a phone booth.
Shortstop Barmas calling. 2 away. That'll bring up Hernan Perez. Perez did not see action last night, hitting .262 with 1 home run. That's a good pitch, huh?
Good slider. If Andrew stays on top of that, Darren Ballsy says it's one of the better sliders out there. If he starts to work around, it gets a little flat sometimes. And he's done well staying on top of it.
Ground ball up the middle. Perez has a base hit. That dribbles through into center field. 2-out single will bring up Martin Maldonado.
See, now that would be classified as a soft hit. Don't you agree?
Right.
It's not like a rocket through the infield, a blazing liner. That's an 18 hopper right up the center of the diamond.
First base coach Mike Guerrero whispering in the ear of the runner with 2 away. Maldonado average down 205, and so are his home runs. He's got power. Center field and shallow. Melvin Upton can't get there. The 1 hop running all the way, and on to third is Perez on the blue pit by Maldonado. First and third, and that'll bring up the pitcher Zach Davies.
Well, you'd rather have a guy squaring up to right one of your infielders, but this could have been a nasty situation. Melvin Upton Jr. saves a run. The ball gets by him. Perez is often scoring.
He's scoring, and Maldonado, even though not a fast runner, would be over third. Davies has had 1 hit in his 10 major league at-bats. Runners at the corners for Milwaukee, and it's 1-1. Shortstop Barmas across, and the inning comes to an end. A couple of singles from Milwaukee, no score, bottom of the second. Surprise. President Mike D and A.J. Preller, general manager, presenting Kemp with the jersey that he wore when he completed the cycle up in Colorado. And that's a very nice framed reminder of a special day in Padre history, the first in 47 years to collect a single, double, triple home run all in one game.
Yeah, that'll look good on the wall at home. Nicely done, Matt Kemp, and a nice gesture by the Padre organization.
I understand the rest of the uniform, including the spikes, will go into the museum here at the Padre Museum at Petco. And Matt himself might donate the jersey someday. Bottom of the second inning. Travis Jankowski hitting cleanup, then Jed Jerko and Melvin Upton.
Future big leaguer working on going to his right.
Which way to first, Mom? Right there. There you go.
They grow up too fast.
Jankowski takes ball one. My one and only grandson is coming in a couple of weeks from London. Going to have him for 9 days.
He's getting big, huh?
I've gone to 3 toy stores and Costco. He's going to have lots to play with.
Good for him.
He doesn't like that big teddy bear. I'm sleeping with it.
Spoil him.
Yeah.
Good
am I ever?
Good for you.
Too young to eat candy, but I got a bunch of that. I'll feed him. Mom and Dad are going to go off to a nice vacation, and Barbara and I will have our grandson all to ourselves.
Good for you.
We've got the stroller. We got the baby seat, the car seat. We're ready. 2-2 to Jankowski.
Is he sleeping through the night?
Yeah, apparently my daughter Emily, the mom, said that he's been like 7 to 7. How about that?
That's a nice schedule.
I can live with that. Outside and a full count Jankowski. and just about ready to walk. He can stand up and climb and look at things. So we've got to watch what's on the tables now. And a swing and a miss. Another strikeout for young Zach Davies, his second. Looks pretty good so far, doesn't it?
Yeah, working down in the zone. And when you don't throw the ball that hard, let's check it out of the hand. It just looks like a traditional two-seamer below the knees, out of the hand. It looks like it's going to be towards the bottom of the strike zone, and then you get to the point of no return. Bang, it's out of the zone. Tough to square that one up.
Jed Jerko, 16 homers. Just had a feeling about Jed, so that's why I selected him tonight in our incredible contest, season-long contest. Pick the stick.
It was more than a feeling, though, wasn't it, Dick? I mean,
oh, there's some. Yeah, he's had a terrific September. That's influenced me. 18 RBIs and 6 home runs this month. And his season has, as a hitter, with each month has improved. And up the middle, and that'll be a base hit. First Padre base hit of the night. Jerko delivers. See if the San Diegans can get on the board first this evening.
let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Took that two-seamer. Well, not a lot of movement right there. The foot, the hands back, the head very still. Following that baseball all the way, tracking it to the barrel of the bat and using the big part of the field. Good looking swing right there from Mr. West Virginia. Mountain Mama.
Mountain Mama indeed.
Take me home.
And he is going to be taking me home. West Virginia in the offseason, get there for the Mountaineer football season. And of course, he was an outstanding basketball player. His brother was the footballer at West Virginia for 4 years, a starting linebacker. They talk some sports in that family.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you picked Melvin tonight.
Oh, yeah. I've got faith in Melvin Upton Jr.
Why did you pick him?
Low ball hitter, sinker baller on the mound.
And he rips one, a base hit. Oh, you can pick him. No wonder you're the defending champion.
Even though that ball was up in the zone, Davies, I don't know, we're going to have to check to see if that was by design or if he missed. And Melvin Upton Jr. taking advantage of it. He wanted it down and away. It leaks up and in. Get up on top of that. Look at the path of the bat staying level. Bam. Right over the top of it. Just out of the reach of Perez at third.
Lashed that single to left. So 2 on, 1 away to Clint Barmas. Veteran infielder. Chance to put the Padres on the board here in the bottom of the second inning. Breaking ball hangs inside. Only 71 miles an hour on that delivery.
That was a curveball. He does not throw very many curveballs. Probably an early in the count like this one to Barmas to give the hitter just a different look.
In the Baltimore organization, his reputation earned at a young age that he had the best changeup in their minor league system and the best control. So far, no walks tonight.
I'll tell you what, those are 2 great points any young pitcher should have. Good changeup and locate.
A ball, 2 strikes to Barmas. Rocky Gale would be next. Gale looking for his first major league hit and maybe first major league RBI. Saw a fly ball behind second, and Jeanette wants it for the second out. And here is Gale with 2 on, 2 out. His last hit as a major league Padre came in spring training. We had to look back at his record. He was 2 for 8 at Peoria this spring.
Good kid. Had a chance to talk to Rocky in the clubhouse before the game, and University of Portland guy, of course, loves the Northwest. He's got to be excited getting a start tonight in the big leagues.
Only 169 days to pitchers report in Peoria.
Only 169. Yeah. It's going to go by like that.
Everyone enjoys the end of the season, especially those in the playoffs, and then time away from the game. And then about a month from now, it starts creeping back into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
Then spring training.
Look at the setup for Rocky Gale.
1-1.
Just very calm, very stoic, very still. Just the hands are low. Bat is up against his right shoulder. And then he gets into the mode to where it gets the feet, the body, the hands rocking a little bit. Just a very simple setup for Rocky Gale. Right there. Then he starts getting things in motion. Hands are moving a little bit. Rocking back.
Ball 2 strikes to Gale. Gale living the dream, 27 years of age. As a catcher, only 175 pounds. He certainly is atypical in that regard. Bounces that one. Oh, Davies able to glove it and throw him out. If that gets over his head, Gale might have an infield hit. But Padres leave 2. Still no score. A's Angels. Critical for the Angels fighting for that wild card, but the A's outscore them tonight 8-7. And that drops the Halos down into a tie with Houston. Houston's game not finished as yet for the possible second wild card. The Yankees are in position to move forward, have the best record. And then Houston is losing 2-0 to Seattle, so the Angels and Houston at the moment tied for that second wild card.
A lot going on there. Don't discount the Minnesota Twins.
Bouncer up the middle. Tough play for Barmas. He can't make it. That's Jeanette running up the line and 2 deep. Once Barmas got to it, he didn't have a play. So Jeanette, another base hit in the series.
Another 5-hopper up the center of the diamond.
A couple of those tonight. Brings up Schaefer, who just missed a home run, actually called a home run, then reviewed and denied, and then he tripled over third base bag, and more importantly, the play, Upton trying to make the play and rammed into the barrier head first and taken out of the game. Still no report from the clubhouse. Pretty much can guess what that report will be. Last 4 games, he's been on a tear.
Ooh, pretty good pitch.
Yeah, good two-seam movement on the inner part of the plate. Trying to catch that inside corner to Schaefer. Andrew's not afraid to bury that ball in there to bring it back.
Schaefer, a product of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
See if they put something on, maybe.
2-1.
Why not, as far as the Brewers are concerned?
Lost 90 games this year. Not a good thing.
Yeah.
They're only 32 behind St. Louis in the Central.
That's a rough year in the big leagues.
To a very loyal fan base there in Milwaukee.
You know, Dick, that's almost like going back when you look at the standing and you see those teams like 32 games out. Remember before divisional play, they just had the 2, right?
Right.
You know, there were teams in July that were like 30 games out back in the day. No chance.
Yeah, when you had 8 teams on each side, 8 in the National, 8 in the American. Somebody had to lose.
Yeah.
Foul back. Jonathan Lucroy, the all-star catcher on the left, or on the right, and Ryan Braun on the left. Braun this season has been shut down with a back problem. Lucroy with a concussion can pinch hit as he did last night. Runner goes, and it's fouled at the plate.
There it is.
Well, the leadoff hitter, Jeanette, back to first base. 1927 on the last day of September.
The 27 Yankees had to do something, right?
Right. So who would you think of first?
I'm thinking Babe Ruth.
And what about Ruth on this date in 1927?
He hit a grand slam for his final at bat at the stadium.
It wasn't a slam, but it was a pretty big number.
Was it?
Number 60.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
To be the all-time home run hitter, and that lasted a long time. Another foul until Roger Maris in 61 hit 61 in an expanded schedule.
Right.
He had 8 more games. And there's a big fuss about that, to put an asterisk by Maris's 61 home runs. Or indeed, after all, he had 8 more games. That's 32 more at bats to break Ruth's record.
That's a great movie too. 61, Billy Crystal.
Yeah.
Well done.
That was a terrific drama in that New York Yankee clubhouse. We did one of those shows on The Way It Was.
Oh, I remember that show. That was great.
Won an Emmy Award. Oh. He got it. Yes, a quick move by Cashner, and he caught Jeanette leaning the wrong way. A disbelief on the face of Jeanette as he jogs head down back to the locker room.
Oh, very nice.
Dugout.
And
Good tag.
yeah, we mention it all the time how a pitcher throws it on the outfield side of the first base bag. So Derek Norris just has to catch it. The momentum brings him right into the runner. Hey, credit Andrew Cashner not only for being quick, but throwing that ball on the right side of the bag, enabling Norris to just easily catch it and get the tag applied.
Yeah, Norris caught him right up on the arm. That was an easy call. Dig out now to Schaefer, 3-2, and the walk. So instead of 2 men on, no one out, Schaefer jogs to first with the first free ticket off Cashner, and 1 away. Adam Lind, the batter, struck out the first time.
Okay, you know how we've talked about bad years in the big leagues? We talk about the Cincinnati Reds losing 11 in a row.
Right.
Just when you think your team's having a bad year, just think about the 1962 New York Mets.
The Amazons.
They finished 40 and 120, and they finished 60 and a half games out of first place. That's a rough year in the big leagues.
Yeah, that was great fodder for the professor, Casey Stengel. Well, there's some of the quotes by Stengel. While you're on the topic, see if you can find some Stengelese about those amazing Mets.
Oh, he had some beauties, didn't he?
I think one of the all-time great pieces of baseball comedy was when Stengel testified in front of the Congress.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand him either. So.
Hey, the Mets won 40 games that year.
Hey, that was good.
Roger Craig won 10. He won a quarter of their games. He was 10-24.
Bounce to the left side. Barmes to Jerko, back to first. Double play. 6-4-3, and the Brewers are gone in the third. Oh, that double play. It never gets old. Beautifully turned.
Padres announced that Don Orsillo will be joining the Padres broadcast team. Don comes from Boston, where he's been the Red Sox play-by-play announcer for the last 15 seasons. So he will join the Padres broadcast team, both television and radio, in 2016, and then in 2017 will become full-time in the booth. As Dick said last week, Mr. Emberg will be retiring in 2017. So congratulations to Don Orsillo, and welcome to America's finest city.
Yeah, looking forward to meeting Don. He would normally be here with the announcement, but he still is the Red Sox announcer for NESN, the New England Sports Network, and currently calling the action in extra innings at Yankee Stadium tonight for the Red Sox. Cashner unable to get the bunt down, and everything that I've heard about Don from all of our colleagues around the country, that we're getting a very special talent and a special guy.
Yeah, very much revered in Boston and New England and throughout baseball. He's a good egg, good guy, and I'd like to welcome him to the Fox Sports San Diego team and the Padres team. Good addition.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Cashner. That's the third strikeout for young Zach Davies. In the final home game for the Red Sox, I understand the fans gave him a 3-minute standing ovation there at Fenway Park. So it's Boston's loss is our game.
Absolutely.
And the other information, along with Don joining us on television, and my days off, he'll replace me, and when there's opportunities, he'll be in the radio booth as well, and then take over full time in this chair in 2017. But Jesse Agler will move full-time into the radio coverage, joining Ted Leitner. Ted will be back for his 37th season. So they'll be the broadcast team. Popular Bob Scanlon, so many opportunities, entrepreneurial sort that he is, will go off on the next phase of his life, and we wish him well. And the other good news, Eduardo Ortega, 30 years coming up for Ortega, and Carlos Hernandez, his partner, former Padre catcher on Spanish language Fox TV. There they are. They'll be back again next year. That's good news as well. Ole!
Look at Carlos going straight. Denny Terrio. Saturday Night Fever.
Where's the big necklace? Where's the jewelry?
Wow.
I think Eduardo has it.
He's going clubbing.
Spanchenberg, a one-out walk here in the third. And time now for our Arco top-tier profile as we check on Zach Davies. This is his 6th start, the rookie. Against Pittsburgh, they hammered him around a bit, but against the 3 other opponents, a fine 1.89 ERA, and opposing batters hitting only 167. They're only hitting 210 overall in the 5 starts against Davies, so he's been tough. 2 hits tonight. Jerko and Upton, Melvin Upton, was singles in the second. Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw to second in time, and Spangenberg erased. And with all his speed, Spangenberg still hasn't really come up with a great break from first. He looked as if he thought that might have been a hit and run.
Well, the flash look and a nice throw by Maldonado right on the money. Gets him on the back foot.
And indeed, Derek Norris did swing at the ball, didn't
right.
make contact. So that's why Spangenberg didn't get a steal break. It's a difference between trying to steal and just breaking on the hit and run. Good throw, however, by Maldonado.
You know, you'll see that with a lot of sinker ball pitchers, put that runner in motion. Hence a ground ball, try to stay out of the double play. Look out. Rocky Gale taking a little test down there, writing down some notes.
Looking ahead to the hitters that Cashner will be facing in the top of the fourth. Davis, Peterson, Segura.
7-letter word for obnoxious.
Off the fist.
Sorry, my name
wouldn't
fit, so don't even go there.
Jeanette throws him out. We're not, because we're going to go to commercial. Your favorite thing. Another check is going to come this month. The game. Any arguments? Anyone not like that fan? Come on, sweetheart.
Aww.
Give us a look here now. Let's see those pretty eyes of yours. They're distracting her, and she wants to watch the ball game. And we'll get another shot at her. But she is our fan of the game.
She's got the flower in the hat.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh, darling.
Chris Davis and Peterson and Segura. There she is. Now we get a look at that face. You wonder what babies are thinking when parents make faces like that. How they must say, we're really ridiculous, you know. Just be careful down there. I'm sure that there's protection for that child should a foul ball come in. I think there ought to almost be a rule that babies have to be behind the screen. You have to have seats behind the screen.
Totally agree with you.
Look at her. She's going to be a fan all her life. Davis down swinging. 5 strikeouts for Cashner. Brings up Shane Peterson. Well, Mark Sweeney joins us. He just sprinted. I mean, he and Pomeranz, they give each other a big hug, and then he sprints over here to be with this team here.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to be up here.
Yeah. Let me take
what do you think? Feel it? Do you feel it?
Yeah. Icy too. Ice in those veins.
Dick, don't touch me.
I don't love you. It's okay.
Love you. Mean it.
That's the Hollywood love you. Yeah. There's a base hit to right center field as Peterson has his first hit tonight. The fourth, and he's going for 2, and he's going to make it. There's a leg double for Peterson. He saw the ball between the outfielders, used his speed to get an extra 90.
Well, Mark Sweeney, it's fair to say there are certain hitters that when they don't square a ball up, and they can see the way the outfield's playing, right, that they take this pitch to where it's hit, and then all of a sudden they see that the outfielder's got to go to his right. He's kind of hook around a little bit. And why not try to be aggressive around first base?
Yeah, that's totally on you. You're not reliant on the first base coach, and especially with 1 out, you want to get into scoring position. That's nice base running.
So no score. We're in the top of the 4th, 1 out, and here's Segura. Did the damage last night, knocking in 3 of the 4. Milwaukee runs in the 4-3 win. Popped to short, his first at bat tonight. Pulled foul.
It's getting interesting, isn't it, Mark Sweeney, with all the wild card stuff, all the scenarios? Yeah, 4-way tie, intra-league, interleague, head-to-head matchups. It's just
yeah, it's exciting times, and everyone's starting to, it's a strange year in a sense of a lot of teams can really put out their matchups and go into it without worried about having to use their ace down the road for those last 2 starts.
Okay, it looks as if, well, it's set. The Dodgers are going to play the Mets, right? We don't know whether the Mets have a 1 game up on the Dodgers. Who's going to have the home field advantage, best of 5. So we've got Clayton Kershaw on schedule to pitch against the Padres in the Sunday finale from L.A. Spangenberg throws it too high. Safe at first is Segura. Norris going up off the bag to field that high throw, and over to third is Shane Peterson, first and third with 1 out.
Well, my first look here looked like Derek Norris got the glove down on Segura. You can see him going off the bag and on top of the head.
Oh, very good. Yep. Yeah, they're going to review this one. Yep, he caught him right on the top of the helmet. And Pat Murphy is challenged already, and he does it quickly. And the fans now noting the replay. No doubt about it.
See, now why can't they just watch the big board and say, okay, we'll change our mind? Why do they need to go to New York?
That's a good point. Maybe that's one of the adjustments they'll make. When it's obvious like that, they can see the replay. Why go through this exercise of another 2 minutes for New York to confirm what everybody in this entire stadium has already seen?
Well, even in that, if they take it to it, it's, New York should say immediately. But nice play by Derek Norris athletically with that glove hand on that left hand. A little bit easier for the right-handed first baseman. Corey Spangenberg has to hurry up because of the speed of Segura. But a nice play coming off the bag. This is not your typical first baseman, and I credit him for being aware of where he was according to the bag and applying that tag on the head of Segura.
Just before that left foot hit the bag, Norris's glove hit him on the top of the helmet. Almost lost the ball. They had a little snow cone there at the end. So if the call stands, it'll be first and third, 1 out. If the call is reversed, which it should be, there'll be 2 outs and the runner at third, Peterson. Yeah, at least it was a quick review. Out. But even at that, kind of a futile exercise.
Well,
so
again,
2 away.
A nice play by Derek Norris, and that is something that really doesn't go unnoticed. The athletic ability coming off the bag, and you see the vision down on Segura where you can apply the tag at its earliest point.
He made a good play on the pickoff move with the tag as well. He's saying, hey, I like it over here where I don't have somebody with all that gear on coming at me, and I got to give them room to come into home plate, I can do anything I want over there at that big bag.
I don't have to get foul tips off my body all night long.
Yeah, he might like that a lot. Hernan Perez is the batter. He singled up the middle first time.
Not good swings from Perez with Andrew Cashner pummeling that outside part of the plate. Very late and not a very good swing.
Yeah, it's coming out of his hands nicely tonight, isn't it, that fastball?
Free and easy. Little wrinkle right here, put him away.
Fastball at 98. Just missed.
A little humpy hump from Cash.
No score. Brewers have a man at third, 2 outs. That's going to be down into the crowd, right field corner.
Got a game break coming up. St. Louis at Pittsburgh. Cannonball coming. Did they raise the Jolly Roger?
St. Louis and Pittsburgh doubleheader.
Yeah.
Toronto and Baltimore doubleheader today because of the rain yesterday. Toronto and Baltimore split their 2 games. Swing and a miss, and 6 strikeouts for Cashner. The breaking ball gets Perez, and the Brewers strand a man at third, and our fan couldn't be happier. Hubba, hubba. Pittsburgh against St. Louis, first game. The catcher for the Pirates, Cervelli, a grand slam, and the Buccos win 8-2. That was kind of the theme of the doubleheader grand slam, because Hayward of the Cardinals in game 2, he delivers a bases loaded home run as St. Louis pounds the Pirates 11-1. So no gain or loss there. Pittsburgh remains 4 back of St. Louis. Cubs won, so they're now 6.5 behind the Redbirds.
9th time in franchise history that the Redbirds have won 100 games or more. It's nice.
What do you think about the St. Louis Cardinals? You think they're going to go deep in the playoffs?
They've got a good chance.
I'm worried about Yadier Molina if he doesn't play.
I think the first round is going to be a tough challenge for him.
I think that's a big factor. You think about a difference maker, it's Yadier Molina immediately.
I don't have him getting past the first round. That's just my guess.
I've dealt with a lot of adversity this year. Obviously, the last blow with Martinez going out, then Yadier Molina.
Will Myers leads off the Padre 4th, and Jankowski and Jerko. If you're just joining us, Myers is hitting 3rd tonight and Jankowski 4th, because Jankowski is replacing Justin Upton, who ran into the left field wall and head first. He was taken out of the game. And strike 3. Myers caught looking. 4 strikeouts for Zach Davies. The rookie's been impressive.
You know, I know we've only seen 3 1/3 innings work from Davies, but Mark Sweeney, I like what I see out of the kid.
Yeah,
he's got a pretty good idea out there.
Mixing pitches, he's pitching backwards at times. He is being aggressive with his fastball, staying out of the middle of the plate. You see the pitch range 91 to 71 on the low end. That'll make you start to guess a little bit.
Jankowski bunts foul. He struck out the first time. So slight of build, this right-hander, 22 years of age. Generating a fastball up to 91. And that outstanding change has baffled the Padres for the most part. Only 2 base runners, singles by Jerko and Upton, back-to-back Melvin Upton in the second. Yeah, we saw the major league debut last night of Jorge Lopez, and he wound up with a win, going 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, 8 hits, thanks to Segura's 2-run homer. Lopez the win.
Well, I know we've talked about it many times. When I look at Davies, we think of pitching, the true sense of the word, pitching. 3 things, and in this order matters to me: location, movement, velocity.
Yes.
Line drive, base hit, Jankowski. He takes a big turn and puts on the brakes. And center fielder Schaefer gets the ball in. That's the 3rd Padre hit. 1-out single brings up Jed Jerko.
Well, since we mentioned location, let's check out location. Down and away with the 2-seamer, just catching up the plate, and nice going by Jankowski, Mark.
Yeah, the previous pitch really gave him a good look at that pitch off the plate for a ball, and then the next pitch, a little bit on the plate, a nice piece of hitting by Jankowski, going the other way for the lefty, going the other way over the shortstop's head. That feels really good coming out of the box.
Jerko singled his first time. Jose Valentin, you saw the first base coach stepping in, stopwatch in hand.
Mark, you see maybe some action going on right here, this sequence of pitches maybe?
I like to see Jankowski be aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, especially with 1 out. These are the when you have to take your chances and opportunities and rely on Jankowski as a base runner, not being told to steal, but just knowing situations when you're going to pick out a pitch.
Only 2 stolen bases for Jankowski so far.
And Mark and Dick, you know, I talk to a lot of coaches and a lot of managers. A lot of managers, I would have to say the majority of managers, tell their runners, hey, if you get a jump, you go unless you get the stop sign.
Yes.
Unless you get a stop sign from your third base coach, if you get a jump, take the base.
You know, a lot of them will give him that stop sign, especially in situations, but I don't like where his hands are on his knees. You got to give the impression that you're going.
High strike, 2-1.
Why I say that is I watched Dave Roberts, and he's one of the best base stealers I've ever seen as a teammate. Put the aggressive, he always tried to push the limits as his lead, but also looked like he was going on every pitch. If you're a base runner, you don't want to tip those things off. See the hands on the knees, and a comfortable lead for Jankowski. Those are some of the things moving forward that he's going to have to do. I know Dave Roberts has constant conversations with him.
Dave Roberts chronicled the steal maybe of the century for the Red Sox in an article in the USA Today on pinch runners and their importance in the playoffs. And of course, Roberts' name would always come up there with that remarkably dramatic steal. 9th inning, Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees. He makes the steal. The Red Sox rally and win the next 4.
Couldn't happen to a better guy, too.
2-1. There he goes. And a foul ball.
You know, everybody talks about that stolen base, and it was great, very exciting. But people lose the fact that, remember, Millard drew the walk.
Yep.
Dave Roberts pinch run, and then Billy Miller drives him in for the tie. A lot going on there. Very exciting inning.
Yeah, Billy Miller winning the batting championship in the American League as the 9th hitter in the Boston Red Sox.
Isn't that unbelievable?
We mentioned that Don Orsillo is going to be joining us next year in the broadcast booth, and he's going to bring some World Series experience with him.
I know. I like that.
Maybe good luck. 2-2 to Jerko. Ground ball to third. The second for 1. Back to first. A double play. So through 4 innings at Petco. Brewers nothing. Padres nothing. In the big leagues, and here's our national university standings, and we finally can say the National League picture for the playoffs is, other than home field advantage, set. The Yankees are in, the Cardinals are in, the Dodgers are in, and Pittsburgh will play the Cubs in the wild card game.
Well, you think of the Los Angeles Dodgers and New York Mets. Really the story now, who's going to have home field advantage?
High hopper, and Spangenberg doesn't have to leap for it. Another high throw, and Norris able to toe dance for the out on Maldonado.
But you think of the Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a couple scenarios here. The Mets won the season series. They were 2-2 at Citi Field. But I think it's very important for the Mets to have home field advantage. They're going to throw Harvey in the third game. So that's pretty much set. Where you're going to throw, probably DeGrom's going to throw first for the Mets. But you look at Los Angeles, who's going to throw first for them?
Yeah, we started to talk about that. Kershaw's, if he were on a regular schedule, would pitch Sunday in the finale against the Padres. Obviously, he won't. They're going to save him. You go with Greinke in game 1 and Kershaw in game 2, or how would you pick?
I think you go Greinke, and the reason why, one, it's going to bother Clayton Kershaw, and I like a fired up Clayton Kershaw. That's a little scary, but I really do believe Zach Greinke has deserved that first start. But here's the thing:
who's third, Anderson?
I don't know. They're going to have trouble with that. I think that's where the weakness really comes.
That's where the Mets
it.
have the advantage, don't they?
But it's going to be an interesting series, and I think everyone is making a huge deal out of Clayton Kershaw not having playoff success. Well, the success has been much better. He didn't start off very well early in his career, and last year having a rough start because Matt Adams ends up taking him deep for St. Louis. The Dodgers can't beat St. Louis. And that's something that's really comes down into it.
The pitcher, Davies, bounces one by the mound, charged by Barmes, and right under his glove. And Davies is safe. An error charge to the shortstop. Well, errors have taken a bite out of his pitching performance this year, Cashner.
See the ball hit the lip?
Just hugged the ground. 22 unearned runs allowed when Cashner's been pitching this year, most in the major leagues. Let's see if this comes back to hurt the Padres and Cashner, as Jeanette, the leadoff man, has an infield hit and a strikeout tonight. Base hit in the third inning and then was picked off by Cashner.
Mark, ask you a question. With Rocky Gale behind there getting his first start, congratulations. That's a great deal. Is there concerns from Andrew Cashner's standpoint of does it kick into him calling his own game?
That's a great question. I talked to Rocky before the game. First is the familiarity. He's familiar with him. He caught him in rehabs down in the minor leagues when Andrew went down. And I think, and I did not ask Rocky this, but I would have to be a believer of that. Andrew Cashner is going to call the game, what he wants to call. But we did see Rocky in the dugout writing down notes, going sit next to Andrew Cashner, maybe on the same page each and every inning. But I think the authority goes to Andrew Cashner, whatever he wants to throw. If he's going to shake off, he's going to shake off.
That's the 7th strikeout for Cashner.
Rocky Gale, as Mark Sweeney mentioned, getting the start behind home plate, picked some balls out of the dirt. I like the way he sets up. He doesn't give you a huge target, but I think fundamentally he's very, very sound.
Like a hockey goalie, he's got those knees down, that leg spread out. Got a lot to block with. He's very agile, and that comes with a 175-pound catcher.
Well, he's got high praise from the organization of how he handles his staff, and I think really being at this big league level, he's learned how to execute game plans. Obviously, Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, is famous for scripting all of those, but being a sponge and learning on the job up at this level and how extensive it really is of executing a plan.
I like his setup behind the plate. I like his target, good low target.
Schaefer drives one to right center, and Melvin Upton has a long run, and he gets there at the edge of the track. As Schaefer's bid for a base hit, the speed of Melvin Upton chases it down. We're at the halfway mark on this one, still no score. Padre moments this season, brought to you by Geico. This is number 5 as Will Venable takes a home run away from Mike Trout at Angel Stadium. Trout has done that to so many other players, and turnabout's fair play is Venable, our number 5 Padre moment of this 2015 season, brought to you by Geico. All right, let's go to the 2015 postseason picture over on the American League side. The Yankees waiting for, could be any one of 2 or 3 opponents. Houston and the Angels are in the prime spots right now. Minnesota lurking. Angels play, there's Angels and Houston there. Then they play Toronto in the next round. That's a confusing graphic to me.
Well, Toronto is going to take on the wild card because they have the best record. But then you look at Texas against Kansas City. That's going to be a pretty good matchup.
And over on the American League side, Pittsburgh and the Cubs will play the wild card. The winner goes to St. Louis, and then the Dodgers and Mets on the other half. And the World Series, by the way, happens to be on Fox starting on October 27th. Melvin Upton base hit his first time up. Clint Barmas and then Rocky Gale here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, that changeup from young Zach Davies. 2-1.
You know what else I like about Davies? Works very quickly. I like that.
3 balls and a strike.
He's gotten squeezed the last 2 pitches. That's a hang with him. Hitters count.
And ball 4, his first walk, a leadoff walk. Let's see if that gets the Padres on the board. No score here at Petco.
Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. College students enjoy a back-to-school offer with 35% off discount. You can't beat that. Authentication is required. Hold on, I'm getting a text. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV today.
It's a tough word.
Yeah, it is. Authentication.
I had a tough time with that over the weekend.
Did you?
Not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie to you either.
That means we're truthful.
It usually works out that way if you're not lying. Prevarication is what we call it.
It's way above my pay grade.
So the second walk allowed by Davies, the leadoff hitter Upton for the Padres. See if Barmas can move him around. Barmas up with men at first and second in the second. Popped out.
You know, we were talking about the old professor earlier, Casey Stengel, and talking about,
yeah,
there comes a time in every man's life, and I've had many of them.
He was Yogi Berra before Yogi. And they get him again. He was picked off last night, and they've got him again. Upton has a habit of that. We've seen it several times.
Was he leaning? Didn't look like it. Just a good throw again, Mark Sweeney, huh?
Yeah, and especially the left-handed first baseman taking that throw and applying the tag in the back part. See Melvin Upton Jr. frustrated at himself.
Just too big a lead. So there goes the leadoff walk, and Barmas now 0-2 on him. You know, it's a very delicate position, isn't it? A baseman that wants to steal has the ability to steal. How big a lead do you take? You want to cheat yourself and be short on the lead, and then you get a little too far out there. That pitcher's got a good move.
Well, you think about what Dave Roberts did as a base stealer. He didn't go in. He was always sliding back.
Shallow fly ball, and Jeanette goes way out into right center to get it. Good play by the second baseman. Go ahead with your Dave Roberts.
Well, if you think about Dave Roberts too, and visually with his lead, as we take a look at this play, this is a pretty good play by Jeanette, going back and trying to battle not having enough room to make this catch and going across his body athletically. Very nice. But for Dave Roberts, that aggressive lead that he took all the time, he went in head first sliding every time. And it wasn't a comfortable lead going back in with a couple steps, and he always did step and a dive. It was an aggressive lead, and he always put it out there. But what you would do if you weren't Dave Roberts, you gain information because everyone would try to pick him off. You'd see your best move against a base stealer.
2-0 to Rocky Gale, who tapped to the mound his first time.
I'll tell you what, I got to be honest. We're talking about being honest. When I was out there from the stretch many times, when Vince Coleman or Ozzie Smith or a base stealer was out there, I was shaking in my boots.
Another comebacker off the bat at Gale, and the Padres are gone in the 5th inning. Still no score at Petco. All singles, and it's time now for our Cholula flamethrower.
Oh, with Andrew Cashner out on the hill, we know we can predict what it is, but what is it? 98.
Oh, 98.
Mark
that
Sweeney.
Is hot sauce.
What do you say it is?
Hot.
Hot sauce.
How can the season end?
You must love this.
Going to be separated from these two marvelous characters. Cholula.
It's got the wooden cap.
You know, in the winter you can put that in your socks too and keep them
keeps
your
it
feet
warm.
don't freeze. Seriously.
Not here.
Well, no,
Alpine.
but when you go up in Alpine, going up there elk hunting.
Whoa.
Sorry about being out in nature. Not surrounded by freeways.
Adam Lynn leads off the 6th.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. 1-1. Lynn, Davis, Peterson, the big guns in the Milwaukee lineup here in the 6th against Cashner. He scattered 5 hits, struck out 7. Changeup. No walks from Cashner tonight. We talked about the World Series on Fox, televised in brilliant color, and you think back to the evolution of television, how it intersected with the game of baseball. Ground ball right side and through. So Lynn, a leadoff hit here in the 6th. The first time the World Series was televised was in 1947. I was around then and actually watched on our little, I think the TV set was about 6 inches.
HD?
Yeah, right. DH. Darn hard to watch. But it was there. You actually could see the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures back in the day when people would go like downtown to the local hardware store where they got the TVs and people would be gathered around to watch the World Series.
On the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Yankees played the Brooklyn Dodgers in that 47 series. Chris Davis has struck out both times. Nice stop by Gale. 1-1 the count.
Well, you're continuing to see Rocky be active back there, especially calling that slider and anticipating it being in the dirt.
'81 pitches here in the 6th inning. Base hit to left. 2 solid singles as Lynn finds the hole on the right side and Davis on the left side. Serious threat now for the Brewers to get on the board first.
Well, you see that hard smash through the hole in between third and short, but missing with that slider, and it looked like Davis was sitting all over that fastball.
Brings up Shane Peterson, struck out and then a leg double to right center as last time. So an unusual time, the final game of the season here at Petco. Tomorrow it's a 3:40 start, so be sure to check your tickets and get out here for that first pitch. We'll be on the air at 3 o'clock here on Fox Sports San Diego. Foul ball. Ian Kennedy will hit his final start of the season against Taylor Youngman. Youngman, the rookie's had a good year, 9-7 for the Brewers.
I remember seeing him up in Milwaukee. He had some impressive stuff. If there's any time for Andrew Cashner to think of a grounder, it's right here in this situation. Up in 2 strikes, work for the grounder. 2 strikes, go for that punch out.
Red Sox in extra innings beat the Yankees tonight, 9-5. Nice. Goes digging for one in the dirt.
Well, prior to this game, 191 at bats for Peterson. He has yet to ground into a double play.
Yeah, he's got good speed. Played all 3 outfield positions, as we see the last slider in the dirt. Nice job by Gale again on that slider.
Woodland at second and Davis at first base. No one out here in the 6th. Fouled in and out of the glove of Gale. Still have not received a report from the clubhouse as to Justin Upton's condition, but we are striving to get the information. .96 on the fastball, a little low. After Peterson, Gene Segura for the Brewers. Another ball in the dirt. Good block, Gale. So a full count now. A big pitcher with no one out and 2 men on. Full count. The Peterson, Cashner can ill afford to walk him and load him up with no one out. See what he has in mind.
Tell you what, Rocky Gale's really earned his paycheck back there tonight. Did a nice block right there.
Well, this isn't a great place to steal a base either with that left-handed hitter up.
And he walked him. The bases are full. Yeah, the first walk of the night, or check that second walk for Cashner. And that loads him up. Lynn to third, Davis to second. Peterson occupies first.
Well, a little bit of blow for Andrew Cashner. You know, Darren Balls, you know, is what Andrew Cashner is capable of doing. Sure, he's got his back up against the wall with nobody out, and with the pitch count and the workload this particular inning, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Maybe how do you want to start this guy off with a first pitch breaking ball? Know where you're going on a comebacker. A lot going on out there, just so everybody's on the same page.
Well, you know Segura's going to swing the bat. Very aggressive. We saw the home run last night, but really induce a double play here. Would be huge for Andrew Cashner. He's in the windup.
And you know you don't have to throw him a strike. I'm guessing first pitch breaking ball right here. Andrew elects to go from the windup.
Segura, the hitter.
There it is.
Good call.
Good call on you, being aggressive early.
Segura's popped up and was out on that play at first base when Decker, fielding the high throw from Spangenberg, was able to tag him on the top of the helmet.
I'm staying with the off-speed stuff, and fastball's not for a strike. If I'm going to throw a fastball, it's going to be something up, out where he can't hurt you. And Rocky Gale has proven tonight where he's kept the ball in front of him, so that gives confidence to Andrew Cashner to throw that breaking ball.
And that's a shot through the left side. Segura has delivered again, and everyone will move up 90 feet. The run scores Lind. It's 1-0 Milwaukee. Solid base hit by Segura, his 4th RBI of the series.
Okay, Andrew Cashner and the Padres got some work to do with the bases loaded and nobody out. So what's the first pitch? It's an aggressive Segura, and he swings at a slider. Advantage Cashner. He went back to the slider, and you know what? It's just a matter of inches, folks, to where a pitch down, a pitch up a little bit, catches that much of the plate here or there. That results in a single on the hole on the left side.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Andrew Cashner wanted to duplicate that first pitch. Just threw it a little harder, elevated just enough for Segura to take advantage of that.
Brings up Hernan Perez, single and a strikeout. Eight hits distributed throughout the lineup. All 8 regulars have a hit. 1-1. Once again, the opposing team scores first. 8 games of the homestand, 7 of the 8. The visitors on the board initially. 2-1.
Now, I'd like to see Andrew Cashner change the eye level a little bit. You see him really working down in the strike zone, which is good. But you also see a guy like Ian Kennedy pitches up at the top of the zone, changes things up from the hitter's perspective.
And Mark, you make a good point. If I'm going to do that right-hander, I'm going to come up here and not out here, because he can get that barrel of the bat out here and send it shooting to right field.
There it is.
And it went right out there.
And I like it.
Yeah.
It's a change of pace, and it was a good time to do that. A riding fastball.
Levels the count at 2-2. Davis now at third. Peterson at second. Segura with the RBI single at first. Maldonado on deck. This is going to take some good pitching by Cashner to get out of this without it being a significant inning for Milwaukee. And he goes to a full count. So single, single, walk, single. Still no one out.
Well, this is a perfect time for a punch out, because Maldonado is a double play candidate, so you can get out with 2 pitches here.
Instead, a ground ball up the middle, base hit. Boy, they're just killing Cashner with the ground ball singles. 2 more runs scored. The throw to third not in time, and into second goes Perez. It's 3-0 Milwaukee. Davis and Peterson check in, and the Brewers still have not made it out here in the 6th inning.
Boy, if somebody can find the snake venom to give to Andrew Cashner, I mean, talk about snake bit. There's been more than a handful of pitches tonight. As this one leaks, it's Todd 1, 2, 3 through the infield. The anti-venom needed.
Well, that's going to be it for Cashner. Pitching change coming up. The Brewers, with 4 singles and a walk, have taken a 3-0 lead. Nick Vincent enters.
your strongest fan photo. Everybody knows how to tweet. Use the hashtag Mark Sweeney. SD Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
And the pitching change, Nick Vincent, brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Vincent with no one out and runners at second and third. Scheduled for Milwaukee, Maldonado, then the pitcher Davies.
25th game for Nick, the Ramona kid. Cutter, fastball, slider, changeup. And trying to, there's something, Mark Sweeney and Mr. Enberg, that relievers take pride in, leaving inherited runners out there. Well, Nick's got some work to do. Nobody out. Trying to pick up Andrew Kashner.
Well, Perez with a 2-run single to center. Segura racing to third, and with the throw going to third, then Perez advanced to second. So now the infield plays in. Maldonado a bloop single and a ground out to third tonight. Slider, and looked like he wanted to go to right field with it. So the scoreless tie shattered here in the 6th by 4 singles and a walk, and the Brewers a 3-0 lead and still no one out. Oh, and 2.
Quick outs here for a reliever. Not a lot of deep counts. Try to get back in that dugout. Keep it at 3. So you're trying to keep the ball away. It's going to come inside there, bury it inside near that belt buckle of the hitter, off the plate. I always like to look for targets, and everybody thinks, you always have to throw strikes. Well, I always like to aim for the belt buckle, aim for the hands, aim for the kneecaps. They can get out of the way.
That's going to sail into the crowd down the right field side.
I'm not saying to hit a guy, but Mark Sweeney, as a hitter, you have a ball come inside. It's kind of.
It's such a good point, because I've said this a bunch of times. Hitters will get out of the way. And if you throw them at their legs, especially those, you talked about throwing at the knees, they're going to get out of the way, but they're going to get uncomfortable again, stepping in the batter's box. It really is important. If you can move a hitter's feet, you can establish that outside corner and even pitch away much easier.
Yep, those are the 3 areas right there.
There it is. Backs him off. 1 and 2. Well, Don Drysdale, who I don't recall the exact amount, but he hit about 160, 170 batters, and he said, I did not. I said, yeah, look at this right there in the book. He said, they hit themselves. They can get out of the way. 1 and 2. Ground ball, another one up the middle. Man, these are seeing eye singles, and the Brewers score 2 more. 5-0. All those runs charged to Andrew Kashner. Man, are they finding the holes. Maldonado's 21st and 22nd runs batted in of the year.
Well, the delivery of Nick Vincent. 2-strike hitting by the Brewers. Going right up the middle.
All 5 hits in the inning, singles, ground singles, and they're just finding every gap. Boy, Kashner, unless something dramatic happens late, is going to be 6 and 16 this year. So Davies trying to bunt his catcher along. He's grounded out and safe on an air by Barmas at short. He's the beneficiary of a big crooked number here in the 6th, posted by his teammates. They've not made it out yet. What is it about these Brewers against the Padres? They've lost 90 games this year. They're 32 games out of first place in their division, and yet they're about to go on to a 5th straight win against San Diego, unless the Padres can come back. Remember up in Milwaukee, a 4-game series. San Diego won the first game, then Brewers took the next 3, using their young pitching, and more young pitchers tonight. A couple of rookies, and last night. Bunted foul, and that'll be strike 3. Finally, and out here in the 6th. Top of the order, Scooter Gennett. Two-run singles by Perez and Maldonado down at the bottom of the order for Milwaukee. Can you believe tomorrow is October 1st?
Wow.
Another month rolling by. Gennett struck out, infield hit, struck out.
What are you going to be for Halloween, Professor?
I hope we're going to be home. I kind of like to see the kids come.
Do you dress up?
Well, now and then I'll wear something scary, or just show them my real face and really frighten them. I used to have a gorilla mask, and I'd sit it to the side of the door, and the kids would come up to the front of the door, and Barbara would be handing it in, and I'd leap around the corner and give a grunt. And they drop all the candy, and I pick it up and give it to the next kid.
Now you just don't put the mask on.
That's right. It works.
How about you, Mark? Little Bo Peep?
Yes. How'd you guess?
Setting that one up.
What are you going as? Let me guess.
A billiard ball.
Shrek.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
No, I think I'm going to go in a coat and a tie, and I'll just go as an announcer.
Why don't you just wear your pocket square?
Just my pocket square?
No, not just. I mean, well, you could have your Speedo and pocket square.
Yeah, that'd be dicey. What are you going to go as?
Ground ball up the middle, and finally it goes to a glove. There's one. Back to first, a double play. Now the 6th inning comes to an end on a double play, but the Brewers score 5. Brought to you by Sequan Casino. Play, win together in the heart of San Diego. By Jack in the Box, taste the home style Ranch Chicken Club today. And by Jerome's Furniture, proud sponsor of the best seats in the house. 5-run explosion by the visitors from Milwaukee, and there's our fan of the game. She's still with it into the bottom of the 6th inning.
That's the best.
That is a darling baby.
Yes.
Jan Solarte has gone to bat for Nick Vincent, leading off the 6th inning. So the Padres work to be done. Solarte was able to start last night and had to hustle home with a run knocked in by Matt Kemp, his 100th RBI of the season. Wondered if, oh no, it's Amarista, not Solarte. That's going to bat here. So Solarte is available as a pinch hitter, but he may have aggravated that hamstring. That's why he's not in the lineup tonight. Lind will take it to the bag himself for the first time.
Talking about Halloween last half inning. Shrek's a good idea. But if I could find a way to get a light bulb to light up in my mouth, I'll go as Uncle Fester from the Addams Family.
That would be a great call. That's outdating yourself.
Well,
don't do that. Be current.
You have to appreciate the classics, though.
Corey Spangenberg has struck out and walked. You remember as a kid your Halloween costumes? I know I was a ball player once. I had the little kids wore their little league uniform.
That was the easiest one.
I was a football player. And I like the, those masks they used to get. Hutch.
Plastic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, the plastic one.
I don't think my mom and dad ever bought a Halloween costume. We always had to go to the drawer or the
make up something.
Yeah, make up something.
Or some of Grandpa's long underwear or something.
Like the union suit.
Jeanette takes care of Spangenberg's roller. 2 away. And after Halloween, don't forget that our closed captioning is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel.
Nice.
Oh boy, time is running out on this crew.
There's Deb Martinez right there, one of the Madres. Ernie Martinez's sister, and a couple of the other Madres.
Do you know the name of every fan here? Most of them.
That's Terry right there, I believe, on the right.
Oh, the Madres are outstanding.
Aren't they the best?
They are.
And they stay with the club right to the final pitch, huh? They never give up. I've said it before. That's the beauty of the female baseball fan. They stay with you to the end. The guys, when you're not doing so well, I think I'll find another sport. I'm just going to bow out here. But the women stick with it right to the end. And God bless them.
How you doing? They sure do.
0-2 to Derek Norris, who has grounded out twice. Hey, lost in all of this. Young Zach Davies pitching a beauty. A 3-hit shutout. 2 outs in the 6th.
Working both sides of the plate. Once again, the location, the movement is key for Davies. He's not going to light up any radar guns, Mark Sweeney.
No, and he has that late movement, too, in the hitting area, which makes it very difficult. We've seen Derek Norris.
Frank Garces getting ready.
He's been getting into that pull mode, Derek Norris has, because he's been forced to do that.
Yeah. He's been pumping fastballs inside, you're right.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Zach Davies. Davies with 5 in the night and leads by 5 in the game.
On Derek Norris, we know what he can do behind home plate when he's got the gear on, but how about first base, finding the tag on the pickoff, and then having to leap and then quickly apply the tag on the head of Gene Segura for the out. A lot going on over there at first base.
A heady effort, if you will, by
nicely done,
Derek Norris.
Whole different ball game over there. Different glove, different angle, ball off the bat.
I love playing first base. That's a great
It's a good position. Absolutely it is.
Most every play, you're right there where the action is. You know you're going to get to play a little catch with your infielders. All right, Frank Garces, number 39 in the appearance column for the left-hander.
Boy, it's been a long time since Frank has towed the slab. Back on the 13th of September, that was at San Francisco. Twirled the frame, 2 hits, couple runs. 1 was earned. Got to bring that ERA down. So
he's been off duty for 17 days.
Yeah.
He'll face Schaefer, Lind, and Davis. At least they are the hitters scheduled here in the 7th. And a ground ball right at Jerko at second. 1 away. Reminder, our game, as always, presented in brilliant HD by Sony. Adam Lind, he started the 5-run inning in the 6th with a single to right field. 1 for 3 tonight. Look at that, everyone has contributed, and then the big RBI singles down the bottom of the order. 2-run singles by Perez and Maldonado. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Brewers. No runs, 3 hits for San Diego. Little soft fly ball to the shortstop. 2 away. And that brings up Chris Davis, the right-handed hitting left fielder. We're talking about this day in history, the last day of September, and Babe Ruth hitting his 60th homer in 27. And 1947, the first ever World Series game televised, Brooklyn and the Yankees. 1972. In the final game of the season, Roberto Clemente with a base hit, his 3,000th major league hit. It would be his last, and shortly thereafter died in that tragic plane accident, headed for South America, rescue relief after the earthquake. Sad, sad day in baseball. Davis with a big cut. And in 1988, Orel Hershiser broke Don Drysdale's record of 58 consecutive scoreless innings, shutting out San Diego in 10 innings.
You know what? That's kind of special to me, too, because I was fortunate enough. I was in the bullpen at Jack Murphy Stadium to witness that.
There's a base hit up the middle, not hit hard by Davis, his second hit.
And the amazing thing about that, Dick, is that Hershiser had to go 10 innings to break it, and he did go 10 innings.
And the Padres won the game.
Mark Parent hit a walk-off home run.
16th.
Yep, I remember that.
Hershiser would extend his streak to 59 innings.
Gosh.
Boy, many of us thought Drysdale's record of 58 would never be broken.
I remember Don at the end of the game met him in the dugout, the visiting dugout. He was doing radio for the Dodgers. And he went down after that game, after the record was broken, and met him in the dugout when he was taken out of the game. Double D.
Yeah, he knew how to play the game the right way. I mean, he was tough competitor, but he really appreciated anyone who played this game well and hard, and whether it broke his record or not, he'd be the first to put his hand out there to congratulate you.
Sweetheart of a guy, too.
Oh, never had a bad day. It's like you. He has a great attitude toward life. And I'd get down the team, the Angels be losing. And,
come on, Professor.
Come on, Professor. Come on. I'll treat you to a drink. Let's go. They don't care. Why do you care? And he'd have a joke, and he'd have that cackle of his. And next thing you know, you forgot where you were and why you were. Shane Peterson, a double and a walk. He scored one of the 5 runs in the last inning. 11 hits now for the Brewers. They cleaned house at the trade deadline. A lot of good players sent away, but you'd never know it the way they're playing the Padres. Aramis Ramirez to Pittsburgh. Carlos Gomez traded to Houston. Mike Fiers went to Houston. Gerardo Parra to Baltimore, but they got this kid we're seeing tonight in that trade, Zach Davies. Jonathan Broxton to St. Louis.
They got some good arms, that's for sure, and some young players that hopefully pay dividends in that Brewer uniform at the big league level.
And a swing and a miss, strike 3. And Garces has his first strikeout. Stretch half of the 7th. 5-0 Brewers. Harris game summary. Go to the 5th inning with the bases loaded. RBI single Segura, 1-0. Up comes Perez, a 2-run single. They were all seeing eye. They found the holes, and then Maldonado against reliever Nick Vincent, another 2-run single, and a quick 5 runs. The only scores of the game for the Brewers. 5 runs, 11 hits. Padres no runs, 3 hits. 22-year-old Davies goes into the bottom of the 7th inning with a shutout. 3 singles. That's been it for the Padres. And a 2-hopper to third off the bat of Myers. And dug out by Lynn, 1 away.
All the grounders are finding Brewers' gloves.
Just the opposite of how the Brewers are hitting tonight. Yeah. Everything seems to find a hole. You know what that is?
That's baseball, Dick.
You
just got to keep grinding, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there isn't a solid, clear-cut answer. You just got to keep grinding. There's a grinder right there, Craig Counsell, during his career.
He got the most out of his talent, didn't he? Travis Jankowski has a single and a strikeout tonight. Counsell, a couple of World Series teams, the Marlins in '97, Arizona in 2000. 15-year career, 255 lifetime average. Knew how to play the game. Jankowski hitting an Upton spot, a cleanup spot. Justin injured on the second hitter of the game. Logan Schaefer hitting one down the line in left field, and Upton lost his balance trying to field it and went headfirst into the barrier. We're trying to get a report, and Chris Budden has asked for the information, but there is none available. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 6 strikeouts now for Davies.
Back-to-back changeups from Davies to Jankowski.
In case you weren't with us, here's the play as Upton, trying to track it down, ran right into the barrier, and he kind of lost his balance and, unable to brace himself, goes head first into the wall. Really shaken up. Dizzy, he had to be assisted off the field. Comebacker by Davies. Fielded, not fielded, and Jerko is safe at first. Segura And Jeanette trying to charge behind the mound to field that one. It was deflected by Davies, slowed down, made it a tougher play. We'll see how they score. A base hit for Jerko. So he's got half of the 4-hit total.
You know, Davies pretty much puts himself in a good fielding position, but after it was deflected off Jeanette's fingers, off Segura's fingers, and there's the ball off the glove, the thumb of the glove of Davies.
Why isn't that an error? Somehow the pitchers don't get the errors, do they?
That's a good. You know what? If you look at that again,
Melvin Upton drills one into the left field corner. Fair. Does that bounce into the stands? Yes, it does. A ground rule double. Oh, that hurt the Padres last night. Cost them a run in a 4-3 loss when a drive landed on the warning path and skipped into the crowd. Would have scored a run. Justin Upton hit it. Now Melvin Upton with a ground rule double.
Does this ball leak in? It's a high two-seamer. Out in front of it enough to keep it fair, and then disappeared off the wall for the ground rule double.
I just heard an interesting sound from the Gnome.
Did you?
Yeah, it kind of said Grant.
Well, really?
Yeah. Didn't
He's
you pick Melvin up?
He's speaking to you?
Well, he's making some signs and signals there. Because that's 2 points for you. You got a walk earlier from Upton. And a single. So you're working on a 4-point night. Ground ball to third. Varmus is out, and so are the Padres in the 7th. We go on to the 8th inning. 5-0 Milwaukee. Milwaukee. Which one is the gnome? Halloween. Got it?
Padres in the top of the 8th inning. Mark Sweeney and Mike Pomeranz. We're working on Padres Live, the postgame show, which will be brought to you by Cox Communications. But, Mark, I think in deference to the big battle going on, not the one on the field, but the pick-the-stick battle between Mark Grant and Chris Button, let's go to the videotape, show some of the highlights, because Grant, he had Upton Jr. today.
He had Upton Jr., and he took him because he's a low ball hitter. Well, what's he get? 2 high pitches. One with a single and the other one for the walk, and then you see the double down the line. He is on fire tonight, and watch him on the postgame.
And you know what happened today? He went off his usual plan, where he usually goes to the pitching coach, Darren Balsley, for advice. Today, he goes to one of the batting coaches, Alonzo Powell, in his effort to make his pick. He picks Upton Jr., so the Gnome is where it's at for us tonight. And here are the standings and the point totals so far this evening.
Well, you see, he is taking a real big lead, and Chris Button only has one more game left tomorrow. It's going to be pretty important for her to make a statement
now,
tomorrow.
In fairness, she will pass the baton over to Allie Sturm for the Dodgers series, so she still has a shot at some points. But Mark Grant with a powerful evening, making a statement, even though Button brought a hammer yesterday and a drill today, and it turns out it's your night just the same, buddy.
Well, you know, the cream always rises to the top.
Gene Segura. Do you drive a Nissan by any chance?
I do.
I saw, I'm not saying she's a bad sport. I saw Chris with that drill working on a couple of your tires. I hope you got a ride home.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think?
I'm getting a little nervous.
Are you?
I am.
Don't give up.
Well, I haven't given up. The problem is when you talk this much trash, if you lose at the end, it's not good. See? And I had the pick before you, and this is where I screwed up. I went to Alonzo Powell after you, and I said, hey, I picked before him, so what's your advice?
Really?
I did.
And Powell gave you.
It.
What did he say to you?
He told me Melvin Upton.
Oh.
He said, same thing, low ball hitter. It's right where he
so,
likes it.
Why didn't you pick him
before me, and he gives you that advice, and you didn't take it?
Because then I felt like that was kind of cheating.
I wouldn't have minded.
Because here's the other deal. I never go up and ask the coaches, so I thought, why stray from my plan?
Oh, so go with your gut then, right?
Segura flies out to center field. One away here in the 8th. Jay Jackson is the pitcher for the Padres. And he'll now face Hernan Perez. Well, we should explain, Chris Button, that tomorrow afternoon will be your last day because then the season ends as we go to Dodger Stadium. And what's your football assignment this weekend?
I actually have the battle of Alonzo Powell versus Jed Jerko, West Virginia at Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Good one. Good one. Perez with a couple of hits tonight. 2-run single in the 5-run go-around in the 6th inning for Milwaukee.
Well, last time Jay Jackson was out there on the hill was on the 25th, a handful of days ago against the Diamondbacks. Chance to have a clean inning here.
94 on that fastball. Just misses.
Good giddy up.
Well, tomorrow it'll be Ian Kennedy on the mound for the Padres, 8-15. Taylor Youngman for Milwaukee, a solid 9-7 season for the rookie right-hander. We're on the air at 3 o'clock. Slice to right, base hit. How about Perez? 3 hits tonight. All singles, scored a run, knocked in 2.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
The Brewers, all 8 innings, they've had base runners. 1-out single for Perez, and here's Maldonado. He has 2 hits. The last, a 2-run single. And he drills one to left field. That's sailing into the glove of Will Myers. Myers looked as if he was playing a bit shallow, but with his range and quickness, able to reach up and snare that line drive. That was hit a lot harder than all those singles that scored 5 runs a couple innings ago.
That big frame of Will Myers is very athletic, going back and reaching up at the last second and quickly getting that rock back into the infield.
And that'll bring up the pitcher's spot, and Jonathan Lucroy will bat for Davies. So what a night for Davies. He leaves the game after 7 shutout innings, allowing the Padres only 5 hits. He walked a couple and struck out 6. Padres running into 2 young arms. Jorge Lopez last night, his major league debut with a 4-3 win, and Davies tonight in just his 6th start, on the verge of his 3rd major league win. Lucroy, a .267 hitter this year, 7 home runs, well down from a year ago. 0-2.
Another great quote from the old professor, Casey Stengel. I don't like them fellows who drive in 2 runs and let in 3.
Well, he made a lot of sense.
200 million Americans, and there ain't 2 good catchers among them.
Yeah, his roster was a bit weak here. 120 losses, 40 wins. And strike 3 swinging as Jay Jackson has a strikeout. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Rocky Gale leads it off. Brought to you by Mercury Insurance. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com and see how much you could save. And by Petco. What we feed them matters. Bottom of the 8th inning we go with the Brewers leading 5-0, and the new pitcher, Corey Knebel for Milwaukee. Knebel played his college ball at the University of Texas, and his teammate was Taylor Youngman, who will be the starter tomorrow afternoon for the Brewers.
Hook 'em horns. Knebel, a 2-pitch pitcher. We saw him in Milwaukee when the Padres went to America's Dairyland. Fastball, curveball. Mid-90s, about 95 on that 4-seamer. 57 strikeouts in 49 in the 3rd innings this season for Knebel.
You know what his hobby is?
What's that?
Brewing his own beer.
Really?
So he found the logical major league team, didn't he?
Perfect.
A brewer for the Brewers right here. Knebel. He'll face Rocky Gale. Pitcher spot to follow, and Brett Wallace. No, it's Cody Decker who's on deck. And then the top of the order. Gale with a line drive. Base hit, his first major league hit. He rounds first and holds. A long single for Gale. He's in the Major League Hit Club. And the good fans of the Padres recognizing Gale's first big league hit. They do the old switch the ball trick. Nice going. 27-year-old catcher finally gets a chance to play in the big leagues. And this will be a night to remember.
Nice going, Rocky. Taking a fastball down and in. His first big league start behind the plate. His first big league knock. That's a good night in the big leagues. Congratulations.
There's a hunk of positive out of this game tonight for Rocky Gale. So Cody Decker comes up.
How about a first big league knock here for Cody Decker?
Yeah, wouldn't that be back-to-back? Home run power, Decker. Led the Padre minor league hitters in home runs it seems, season after season.
And somewhere on the East Coast, Keith Olbermann is up out of his chair rooting on Cody Decker right now to come through big time with that first big league knock.
0 for 5 so far. Oh, that went off the mask of catcher Maldonado.
That'll ring your bell.
Five nothing. Milwaukee. Padres trying to stir up some trouble here in the bottom of the 8th inning from the rookies. Another one on deck. Spangenberg. Ground ball to third. Nice play by the third baseman. Bad hop. Double play. The third turned tonight. And that takes the Padres out of a hopeful start in the 8th inning. 5-4-3. Good play by Perez. That ball took a bad hop on him. That could have well gone off the glove into left field.
Nice feed on the turn as well. And hugs and high fives all the way around for Rocky Gale. That's nice.
So 2 outs to Spangenberg, who has struck out, walked, and grounded to second.
Hard holding back the smiles.
Yeah, that'll be tough to wipe off when he hits the hay tonight. He'll still be smiling. 2-0 to Spangenberg. Gale's hit the 6th of the night for the Padres in the game. These kids growing up together in the minor league system with the Padres, all pleased for each other. Jankowski, Spangenberg, Gale, they've been teammates in the minors. Decker as well. Yeah. 3-1 now to Spangenberg.
Cole likes to go that way. With that said, the outfield for the Brewers really swung over to the left field line.
Yeah, Davis going steady with that foul line on left.
Look at that.
And a full count now to Spangenberg, the leadoff man. There's a loyal, hopeful Padre fan. You never know when a rally will erupt. And the walk. That double play took a bite out of the inning, didn't it? 2 away, and Spangenberg aboard. Brings up Derek Norris. Get a couple on in one swing, and by a 3 game, get mighty interesting. A little tougher now. Norris has grounded out twice and struck out. Good breaking pitch. Well, there were 3 doubleheaders, all involving teams battling for a playoff spot. It's interesting. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, they split. Toronto split their doubleheader, but clinched the East. And Minnesota and Cleveland split their doubleheader. So with the Angels losing, Houston is still playing. Last score up there is the 6th inning. Certainly they must. That's really a slow moving game. 6-6 is the score at Seattle. So Houston has a chance to really make a move here because all the teams around them have lost. Game's still underway. Should they win, they would jump a half game in front of the Angels. The Yankees have the top spot in the American League wild card race. Angels a half game lead over Houston at the start of play tonight.
Yeah, the Yankees 3 games above the Houston Astros in that wild card.
Norris strikes out again. We go to the ninth. 5-0 Milwaukee.
But first is San Diego Prep Insider, and then Behind the Bolt with Nick Hardwick.
To turn my back to the field, compose myself. It's really hard standing on the sideline watching your friend that you're fiercely loyal to getting his butt beat.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Nick Hardwick obviously knows the game and knows the Chargers inside out, and get his insights into the beating that the Chargers took in Minnesota and how they're going to rebuild that offensive line. They signed a couple of new linemen. They might come out with a whole new offense on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns at the Q.
Can't imagine what it would be like to be a center in the NFL. So you talk about a guy who has so much on his plate, and then being as good as Nick Hardwick was. Man, what a position.
They have to be, along with the quarterback, the brightest guy in the field.
Yeah.
Because they're calling all the line blocks, the stunts, pickups. Plus, they got to snap the ball correctly and fight off a guy trying to drive them back into the backfield. Not a very pleasant spot, athletic spot. You've got to be special. Decker stays in the game at first base, and the new pitcher is Bud Norris. Norris facing Jeanette, Schaefer, and Lind for Milwaukee in the ninth. Moon trying to hide. Amazing the strength of our television lens. Jeanette has an infield hit, 2 strikeouts, and grounded into a double play. It all happened in 1 inning. 5 singles and a walk against Cashner and Vincent for the 5-0 lead. And after a bad pitch there, 0-2. Norris making his 19th appearance, reshaping his career, going from the role as a starter to a relief pitcher with the Padres. So the final home game tomorrow afternoon against these Brewers. Then on to a bus ride up the freeway to Los Angeles for games Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday against the NL West champs for the 3rd straight year. That's never been done in Dodger franchise history, going all the way back to Brooklyn. Jerko can't quite get to that ball in the hole. And Jeanette has another hit. Another ball just finding the hole for Milwaukee. That's been the story of the night for their hitters. Leadoff man on, and that means all 9 innings Milwaukee's had a base runner.
As promised earlier in the game, we selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. You got to use the hashtag when you tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag SD Data Strong fan for a chance to be featured in the broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile and Rebecca at Rebecca Herman. She's a big fan. Ringing the bell here at Petco Park. Thank you, Rebecca.
Schaefer, it was his triple. Actually would have been a single or a double, but Upton hustling, trying to cut it off and hold him to a single, ran into the wall, and by the time the ball could be recovered, in fact, it's amazing that Upton actually still could get the ball and at least toss it to Barmas. And by that time, Schaefer had himself a triple. He's walked then and flied out and grounded out. Adam Lind to follow. Norris, the 5th pitcher used by Pat Murphy tonight. Chopper to first. Decker with a flip to Norris for the first down. Cashner started, went 5 innings, and then things fell apart in the 6th inning. Single after single after single, and charged with all 5 runs on 9 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 7. Lind 1 for 4. He singled to start that 5-run 6th inning. .94 on the fastball, misses. So Toronto is clinched with a win today. Boston beat the Yankees. The Red Sox have won 6 in a row. The Angels' 7-game winning streak snapped by Oakland tonight. The Yankees' magic number for the wild card was 2 coming in, but they lost to Boston. Cincinnati, 11 straight defeats for the Reds.
That's unbelievable. First time since 1998 that's happened. Wow. Tough season for the Redlegs.
On the inside corner, Lind doesn't believe it. 1-2 the count. Ian Kennedy, SC, now with SD.
That's an old school mustache right there. We got a game break coming up. Astros, Mariners.
Yeah, that's a big game. The one left to go in the books tonight, along with this one.
Astros definitely desperately needing a win there.
It's a big shift in position. They move a half game into the wild card picture and push the Angels down a half.
She just got done cleaning up the highway, enjoying a big league ball game.
Oh, come on. She just went to Tennessee. Lind sends a high fly ball to left field. And it's Melvin Upton with the catch, and holding at second, Jeanette. 2 away here in the 9th, and Chris Davis the batter. You see Myers get out of the way.
Yeah. Peeling off. Must have been some communication out there.
Yeah, Upton called him off, and Myers almost ran to the foul pole.
You know, it's amazing, like when I talk to kids regarding, playing baseball and having fun and learning the game. You know, you get kids on a playground or something, they're screaming their heads off, screaming and yelling. You get them on a baseball field in a high pop fly, they're like church mice, just not saying anything. They're afraid to scream. Hey, take charge. Scream like you're on the playground. I got it.
That's what you tell them, right?
That's right.
Communication. Name the sport, and team sport. You have to communicate. Certainly in football, certainly in basketball, soccer, and baseball as well. And you've got your head looking up for a fly ball, and you need help around you.
That guy's a fan.
Davis is 2 for 4 tonight.
Yes, he did. Oh, come on.
I'd love for you to be up at first base.
I guarantee he goes. Watch the head of the bat, how far out in front it goes. Oh, my goodness gracious, it was parallel to the playing field. If he hits it, it's a double.
I don't think so.
So you don't agree with my philosophy on that?
No.
The barrel of the bat is parallel to the playing field.
No, I didn't quite get there. See, that's you got to call it Eagle Eye.
Really?
Yeah. Tyler Thornburg, who was 27, celebrated his birthday in the bullpen last night. Let's see action bottom of the 9th inning. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Norris with a strikeout. That's it for the Brewers in the 9th. Here come the Padres. Final call. To that Houston game against Seattle, Colby Rasmus, a bloop base hit, and that's going to break the tie in the 7th inning. And the Astros have a 7-6 lead up in the Emerald City. Still time to be played, but a very important opportunity for A.J. Hinch's Astros. With a win, they move back into the 2nd spot for the wild card, ahead of the Angels. Tyler Thornburg, the new pitcher.
Well, when you look at Tyler Thornburg's numbers, you like the strikeouts, almost 1 per innings pitch. A little high in the walk sometimes, but a chance for him with a 5-run lead to close out this game for the Brewers. Another good young arms on the roster for the Milwaukee Brewers, trying to make an impression.
Padres on the verge of being shut out for the 19th time this year. It's just perplexing. How do you figure this team out?
I would have lost that bet.
Will Myers grounded out twice and struck out. Padres with only 6 hits, 2 by Jerko, 2 by Upton. Jankowski and Gale with singles, and Gale's his first major league hit. 93 on the fastball.
Yeah, that's what he pretty much averages with that 4-seam fastball. Also throws a changeup and a curveball.
Good looking breaking ball, just missed. 2-2.
You see Rocky Gale still doing some studying down there in that dugout. Looking over the stuff of Tyler Thornburg, Melvin Upton Jr. looking on.
In case the Padres get into a rally mode here, they might get a chance to swing the stick again. It's 3-2 now to Myers. Jankowski to follow, then Jerko. And he's aboard with a leadoff walk. And let's go now to our Bill Howe play of the game and put this on the machine and play it over and over. Our first major league hit. We all were witness to Rocky Gale's first big league knock, and that baseball will be a prized possession. Smile of the week from Rocky Gale.
You might see some pitchers right now for the Milwaukee Brewers get up in that bullpen, start stretching the hose a little bit. Get another base runner here if Thornburg continues to be wild and be on that horn.
Jankowski, the hitter, has a single in 3 trips. 2-0.
And the time for a visit.
Maldonado and Perez come in to talk with Thornburg.
Stay tuned after this one, after the Padres come back and win it. Padres Live, the postgame show. Mike Pomerantz and Mark Sweeney going to break everything down. Major League Baseball, this game, all the wild card races. These guys do a great job.
It's a long day for them. You know, they have to be here early, get ready for the pregame show. Well, our conference calls at 10 in the morning.
Oh, I love it.
But they've been thinking about items, issues that are of importance to put in that show long before the conference call and put everything into work, get the video. It's a job we all love, but they put in an admirable amount of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 3-0. Thornburg walks another batter. So the Padres free tickets to Myers and Jankowski. Something brewing here thanks to the generosity of Thornburg. Pitching coach Rick Kranitz going out to talk. Tomorrow it'll be Ian Kennedy, the daddy, pitching for his 4 daughters. 3:40 game time, 3 o'clock here on Fox Sports San Diego. The red-bearded one against Taylor Youngman of Milwaukee. The honor of pitching the final game of the regular season at home. Pitching matchups for the Dodgers series not definite yet. A lot will depend on how the Padres want to use their rookie arms. But the Dodgers apparently will have something to be playing for. They want to get home field advantage against the Mets, and they're 1 game behind the Mets.
Absolutely.
No attendance announced as yet. Yeah, now we're just receiving it. 30,514 the paid attendance tonight. Padres went over the 2.4 million mark last night. Jed Jerko, 2 singles and a double play ball, 2 for 3. Thornburg way off the mark.
Oh, these guys are fans. Look, they're dressed up in the Padre gear. They brought their gloves to the ball yard. Love it. Hey, Santa's a Padre fan.
He could be a good Santa, huh?
Yeah. Look, she's locked in.
Look at it. Yeah, she's ready in case a line drive comes in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jerko. Couple of walks to open the 9th inning for the Padres. And they take advantage. Saw Frankie Rodriguez, the closer from Milwaukee, and with the situation a bit dire to start the inning, they want to make sure they have him ready. He had the save last night, his 38th of the year. Has more saves than any active pitcher in the bigs. Pounded foul. Myers led off with a walk. Jankowski followed with a second walk from Tyler Thornburg. When he's off the mark, he is really wild. 2-2. Maldonado looking into the Milwaukee dugout as if to say, I don't know. You better have somebody ready. And Craig Counsell does. He'd rather not use his closer with a 5-0 lead, but Thornburg pressing the issue. Popped up. If it's fair, it's an infield fly rule, but Maldonado will handle the foul pop for the first down. That'll bring up Melvin Upton, who has been the one Padre with some hitting success tonight. Single and a double and a walk, a 2-for-2 evening for Junior. Sitting on the 5 home run mark on the year. Clint Barmas due next.
Oh my goodness gracious.
He's way off the mark. Runners advance on the wild pitch. And that is like a 45-footer.
Yeah.
That takes away the double play.
You talk about spiking a breaky ball. He just saw it right there.
Pretty tough to handle for Maldonado. You normally don't get that kind of a hop on a pitch ball.
It didn't even bounce in your shot right there. It bounced before the shot.
So runners at second and third with 1 out and 1-1. Upton in position to deny the shutout for the Brewers. Davies going 7. Knebel the 8th inning, and now Thornburg. 2 walks and a wild pitch. And another pop-up, but that is going to make it to the crowd just by the Padre dugout. Off the roof, and caroms all the way back to the aisle. 1-2 the count. Rewarded for staying, rooting for the Padres to the very end. see those blue marks on his bat. That's the print of the baseball logo, the Major League logo on the baseball. Contact made. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Contact not made. 2 away. And Barmes is called back. And Jan Solarte will pinch hit. Two-men in scoring position for Solarte, who's knocked in 61 this year. Well, you had the pluses and minuses of this 2015 season, and Solarte's name falls into that plus column.
Absolutely.
Switch hitter has shown power from both sides.
Yeah, got better from the right side, didn't he?
He did. Improved during the year. He's a tough out.
Tough to strike out.
One of the toughest in the league. Fielded his position well. He doesn't have the great speed, but he's got good quickness and good instincts. And a great attitude about the game. He loves playing. Extra points for that. Changeup, 1-1.
Thornburg's got a good changeup. Struck out Melvin Upton Jr. on a changeup down and into the righty. Now the switch hitting Solarte from the left side. That pitch is going to go down and away from Jan Hervis.
Two 2-1. Should Solarte keep it going? Brett Wallace is in the on-deck circle. He would hit for Gale. Myers at third. Jankowski ready to rumble from second. Three and one.
That's a serious rally cap right there.
He's battling with the Padres right to the end. 3-1. In there. 92 on the fastball. So a full count to Solarte. The reasons he's tough to strike out. He gives up and he gets 2 strikes. He chokes up a little more. Better bat control. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. And Thornburg pitches around 2 leadoff walks. And the Padres lead the majors with their 19th shutout of the season. Milwaukee 5, San Diego nothing. And here's Mike Pomerantz.
And it's a dubious distinction, Nick. When Mark and I see on Padres Live, the postgame show, you're going to hear from Pat Murphy, and Mark Grant becomes the man on the street.